truth.
The truth.
The truth. We promise to give you the truth today here on, what do we call it? We'll figure that out later.
The truth is that we are all naked.
Right now.
We have Zan here again.
And you cannot confirm nor deny that we are naked. You'll just have to take our word for it.
Yes.
Does that make
Valdo is very hairy. He's a very hairy man. It's actually turning me on.
Does this make you uncomfortable? Does it? So, we're here to talk about The Signal.
The Signal. So, The Signal. If you've never heard of this movie,
I'm surprised that it's getting pretty big on the internet for some reason. I've seen it mentioned on movie recommendation sites. It's been picking up some steam. I know it performed at Sundance.
It performed moderately well at Sundance.
Yeah.
I remember it because it performed moderately well at Sundance, and then it came through Regal, and it has to have a fairly decent showing in order to come through Regal. Whiplash hasn't even come through Regal,
and it's a very interesting.
It's a very interesting film. If you've seen the trailer for this film,
interesting.
Go watch the trailer.
The
trailer is awesome.
I will say this: I love the way the trailer is put together. The trailer. See, okay, you kids watching at home, take a second, pause this, watch the trailer for The Signal, and then come back and then listen to what we have to say after that.
Yes,
because
go watch, pause.
The trailer will sell you like crazy on the movie.
It's so good, and
it is so amazing.
It's so honestly that soundtrack, the wah,
yes,
wah, I downloaded that song,
giving me chills of Alien.
Yeah,
it's giving me Alien vibes.
And all the shots, there's so many beautiful shots in that trailer, and Laurence Fishburne.
Go see it right now, and then we'll come back. We fucking hated this movie, didn't we? I hated this movie. I hated this movie so much. This movie was all build up to nothing. This movie was frustrating. It was frustrating because it does such a good job at being mysterious and being convincing you. No, trust me. The ending of this movie is gonna blow your shit. Trust me. It's gonna be the coolest thing you've ever seen. And then I saw it and I'm like, you fucking liars. They are liars. Oh my god. Why don't we start off with the stupid-ass plot of this piece of shit?
Okay, so, the stupid-ass plot of this shit. So, this movie stars Brenton Thwaites. So he's the
most boring actor I have seen in decades. He was so unexpressive, so unemotional, so unaffected by everything around him. There's a scene at the end where he's supposed to look up at the camera and look past the camera and look all cool, furrow his brow. He has a real tight close-up on his eyes, and it looks like he just looked up from taking a shit. He looked like no expression, no emotion, just mild, strain.
Let me finish the plot synopsis.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, we're never gonna get this done.
So anyway, this movie stars Brenton Thwaites as Valdo has already commented on, as who cares, as the main guy with his two amigos, super hipster and then the girl from Ouija.
And girlfriend. I call her the girlfriend.
Yeah, and the girlfriend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the plot device.
Yeah, he's crippled, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. He's crippled. Yeah, he's a freaking cripple.
Yeah, he's
which is cool.
He's a monster.
He's the best looking cripple I've ever seen.
I said he's a monster. He is deformed. His legs don't work. And you know what's better than winning at the Paralympics, man? Walking. I love it.
Ow.
We can edit these out.
No, that stays in. So, Brenton Thwaites, whatever. Him and girlfriend, basically, they're like super and super hipster douche. They're all hackers.
They're MIT students.
Yeah, and they're super smart, and they get this random signal from this dude, and they think it's this guy
named Nomad.
Yeah, Nomad, and they follow his signal out to this strange abandoned
I think it's important to note they were not supposed to be going there in the first place.
Yes,
they are on a road trip, and they're like, "This guy's taunting us. We should probably go find him."
Yeah, it's a road trip, and then they decide to go off course.
Well, it's the middle of the night. Yeah, this sounds like a really good time to go confront him. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the desert, where there's nobody around. Perfect. They're all white. Keep this in mind. I will say...
One of them's hipster white.
Mm-hmm. Hipster white.
He's about
That guy's
Picture a hipster in your head. Take away the scarf. Just take away the scarf, and you have him.
Yeah, that's it.
He's in the desert. I'm really glad he wasn't wearing. I think just too long shooting for him to wear
the
scarf the whole time.
These guys are on their way, and they go search for this.
Yeah, and they go into this, like Valdo said, in the middle of the night. They're like, I'm a cripple and a hipster. Let's go check this abandoned building.
It was so annoying. You're crippled, and you're doing this? What? Like, okay, never mind. Let's keep going.
Even with that logic, let's just pretend like that's... Okay, they're brave. They're brave people.
I gotta keep going. So, they
go in, and then they see search. That there's, like, nothing, except for maybe... Was there a router? I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I've seen
There was a little bit in there. They don't see anything in there. They come back outside.
And then they just get...
They see the girlfriend get sucked into the sky, which I actually thought the effect was effective. And I thought that scene was pretty cool. Yeah. You see her get sucked into the sky, and suddenly there's... They do the fade effect in and out on the editing machine, and yeah, they have heavy breathing, and they put in the heartbeat sound effect to make your heart go boom boom, and then we cut to him waking up, and the rest of the movie is him not getting any answers from Laurence Fishburne, and
him sitting across from Laurence Fishburne,
not getting any information. He's stuck in this weird. The movie does a really good job of not telling you things. Not explaining things. You have to kind of figure it out on your own, and you have to make your own inferences. So he's stuck in this weird laboratory in what seems to be the middle of Arizona, he thinks, and he's
been implanted with robot legs.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. He's got really badass robot legs. He looks down, he's like, wow, this alien technology kicks ass. After, he's done screaming for like 10 minutes. I'm like,
yeah, he's been like trying to communicate with his friends through like the vents, I guess.
Okay.
And like Mike during
the thing about this movie is that I can't tell you anything without either saying, well, that's a lie, or A, spoil it, or B, spoiling it,
Yeah, because I feel like this movie is super mysterious, but the mystery is, it's like a one note, that's a mystery.
Well, and here's the problem. Okay, so every time they built a mystery, I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Where's this going to go? And then when they gave me the answer, every time I was like, well, that's disappointing. Mm-hmm. Every time. It was like, So let's talk about... Okay, I'm going to talk about all my positives. I'm going to get them all out of the way so I can absolutely
I would like to
this movie.
Okay, trailer. First of all, honestly, before I saw this movie, I watched the trailer maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
because I thought the trailer was so good. The soundtrack in the trailer, the visuals. We already said this.
Yeah. The trailer kicks ass, and I have to say, for a movie that was made for only $4 million, this looks like a big budget science fiction movie.
Yeah.
The special effects are all very seamless. It's all very well shot. The cinematography, I thought, was pretty gorgeous in certain parts.
Yeah, the
director has this incredible level of technical expertise.
Yes.
Like he really honestly does make this movie look like it's a big budget Hollywood movie.
Uh-huh.
It has that feel and it has that look. But everything else in the movie was so subpar.
It's really a case of like story is king.
This is a great example of why you need an amazing story to hold up your... You need 2 things. Number 1, you need an interesting story, and number 2, you need to film some sort of action. There's a lot of... Okay, I'll put it to you this way.
Action that matters.
Yeah, because
there's action in the movie. There's like he busts out of this compound.
I really want to talk about... I have such a huge problem with the end of this movie. Like, from the way it's filmed, from the way it's edited, from the way it's almost pretentious in the way it's filmed and edited. Mm-hmm. It's like, I really honestly can't really describe it too well without spoiling it in some ways. But
so we'll come back to it at the end. We'll give you a spoiler notice for those of you who just like, all right, just tell me. I just want to know the end. We'll get to that. Yeah. We'll give our ratings and everything. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, I'll just say this: the acting from Laurence Fishburne, perfect. I thought he did a great job, especially when they have a character twist with him. He does amazing in it. I thought he was really cool. There's another actor in the movie. There's an actress in the movie. Do you remember the woman?
I don't.
The
woman.
babbling woman.
The babbling woman. No, I don't.
She's the one where.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember her?
Okay, yeah.
All the adult actors I thought were really good. I thought the girlfriend was really good, and I actually thought the hipster douchebag. While he looks like a hipster douchebag, I thought he was very expressive. Mm-hmm. I thought I could feel all the emotion, but the main kid bored the shit out of me.
I think
every scene.
See, the thing about I wasn't as bored with him as you are.
I don't
know if he had anything to work with. For me, like sometimes like I feel like the character was boring. Mm-hmm. Like he's okay. He's like a cripple.
He almost felt like autistic in a weird sort of way in certain parts, like with how like just unemotional he was about certain things. Mm-hmm. And I will say this: the beginning of the movie, the thing with him and his girlfriend dealing with his leg issue, mm-hmm. I thought that was handled well. They even do this thing where they show him fall, and remember when he falls at the beginning of the movie? I thought that scene was so like, wow, like they're actually friends. I care about them. They mm-hmm. seem to care about each other. Yeah, they're all nice. They build a bond, but like everything in this movie, it tricks you into thinking it's way better than it actually is.
Especially that first third of the movie too, and the trailer.
Yeah,
you go in and it's like a slow.
It's slow building.
It's like it's not even a crashing pummel, like a plummet and crash. It's just a slow realization
that you were watching complete and utter shit. Yeah,
that this movie is not good.
It just
it's because for me too. Like even after leaving the movie, I wanted to like it.
I wanted to love this movie. I really did because it's got it's got so much heart and it's got like
science.
Maybe not
science fiction. Hard is not.
Well, no, not heart. More like it's got a lot of. It has big dreams.
Very big dreams. That's a good way of putting it.
It's got big dreams, but they're all pipe dreams, and they're all failing miserably right before my very eyes. And I need to talk about my main problem with this movie is that you give a character an interesting new addition. Okay, you take this kid and you give him really cool robot legs, right?
Yeah.
And we're getting into spoiler territory.
Wait. Let's give our rating. Sorry.
Let's give our rating right now.
We're going to give our rating for those of you who want to still see this movie.
I give this the bucket of shit award.
I give this...
but a very beautifully filmed bucket of shit with a nice lens flare added onto it.
I give this movie a slowly decaying marriage that slowly just falls apart. You start off in love,
the honeymoon phase,
and
it's all wonderful,
and then just slowly but surely you realize how much you hate
dating a psychopath.
No, you're married. It's
I'm
worse.
Married a psychopath.
You can't leave. You can't leave until one of you guys dies.
Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to outlast it. Let's get into my big.
Those of you who want to go see it, go see it. Come back to us. We're gonna go into full spoiler territory and discuss.
And I'm not spoiling anything by saying it has robot legs because you can see them in the trailer.
Yeah.
You can see him running at super speed.
Oh yeah.
So,
anyway, so
he gets these robot legs, right? And his friend gets super cool robot hands.
He gets these
robot
sweet
hands.
Robot arms.
Yeah, sweet robot arms.
He's like I remember being like really weirded out by those.
But they both can't stop finding reasons to like. They can't stop finding more reasons to cry about them every time. Like they were like, they kept treating them like such a burden. Which I'm like, you could punch through people. Like okay, so this is my big problem with the movie. In the end, it's all of the little things. None of the big things. It's all of the little things that ruin this movie. For instance,
and one big thing of just an arc. Is there an arc?
Oh yeah. You think you're gonna get an end to the storyline between him and his girlfriend? You were wrong.
You know those things you care about in the beginning.
Yeah. You know what I felt like? I felt like this movie was a really good, like, if this was the opening 30 minutes to a science fiction movie, this would be the most kick-ass opening to a science fiction movie ever.
I agree.
This feels like the opening 10 minutes to a sci-fi movie.
Maybe the first episode of a miniseries.
Something like that, yeah. It's all build up, and then it cuts off right before it gets really good. Because, okay, you introduce these, I can't stop talking about the robot legs. You introduce these robot legs, we only see him use them once. Well, maybe twice, but on the first time, you don't even really get to see him use it.
Does he kick in a door at some point?
Oh yeah, he kicks a door. Oh, jeez. Oh god.
He breaks out of this facility. He breaks out once and then has to like go back to his room. Do you think they would have like gotten higher protection on him?
Yeah, you'd think so, and yet they just let him. Well, that's another problem is that you find out. You don't mind if we spoil this movie, do you?
No.
Okay, you find at the end of the movie that he's on an alien planet, and they're all robots. Okay,
they built like a desert. Like...
So they built this desert thing, and you know what? After the end of the movie, I'm still not clear why they put him through all that.
No, I don't remember.
Why go through, like, I seriously still don't understand. Why did the aliens go through all the trouble of, and don't tell me I need to see the movie again in order to figure it out. It already took 90 minutes of my life. I'm not giving that movie any more time.
And, like, what happened? Why were they being such dicks to his friends? Why were they shooting at him and stuff?
Yeah, why? See, the movie is so mysterious, it's mysterious to a fault, because it thinks
it's mysterious to itself.
Yeah, it's mysterious to, it's so debilitating, because you're watching this movie and it doesn't give you, it leaves a lot of unanswered questions, except these unanswered questions are also story arcs, like general plot holes. Like, it's just so bizarre how badly it all came together at the end. Like, for instance, I need to talk about this. The scene where he's running super fast.
Yeah, at the end.
At the end, it looks like a fucking Wile E. Coyote cartoon. It looks like he just ran. It doesn't help that he's in the desert. Keep that in mind. He's running through the desert on a bridge, and you see him, and you see the little smoke trail leave behind him, and I'm like, this is silly. This is silly. And then it ends there.
And it ends there. He breaks through this, like, shattery wall thing.
Or do you find out he looks down and he's like, oh wow, I'm on a spaceship. Wow.
And then it cuts to black.
And then it cuts to, and then Laurence Fishburne, okay, I thought it was cool when he takes it off, and then I realized the reason he had the thing on was because he was covering up his robot parts. But even there, it then ruins it, but I'm like, okay, so is he going to explain why he did all that? And then it cuts to black. You motherfucker. Yeah, and so, another thing. Okay, you introduce robot arms, robot legs. Immediately as an audience member, I want to see them in action. I want to see him use the robot arms and robot legs to punch people in the face.
Or just at least, use them.
Yeah, use them at least once.
Sure
here's what happens. The super hipster, with his super hipster, hands, he has these cool robot arms, and yet he hits people with the butt of a rifle.
I don't remember that.
It's been a while since you've seen this, but literally, I'm like, okay, you've got these cool robot hands. He picks up this gun. I
remember him not hitting anyone with them, though.
He never hits anyone with them. And then, my biggest problem with this movie is the scene where I'm like, okay, it was building to this moment. He's finally going to use the robot hands to save his friends. And it is the single hands down worst scene I have ever seen in a movie this year. The scene where he hits the ground, video game style, and creates an earthquake to, knock the soldiers out of the way. That scene is so badly filmed, and so much, I'm pretty sure the director took that scene and then put that directly into his visual effects reel, and then shipped that out in all his resumes to companies all across the world. Because that's all it was. It was just... And that's the thing. He raises his hand, and I don't know if you remember this. He raises his hand, and you don't even see it hit the ground. The camera goes down too fast. You don't see it hit the ground. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts, and then you see, and then we'll, fade out, and then fade back in to seeing, people flying through the air. And then I'm wondering, okay, so did he hit the guy? Or did he hit that guy? Wait, why is that guy flying over there? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, that was stupid. But you know what? They're saving it all at the end for when he uses his robot legs, because that's totally where they're going to save it. And they just fucked it up.
The thing I think what Valdo is trying to say with his contemptible anger he's trying to mask right now is that this movie couldn't decide whether it wanted to have a good story or good special effects. And just a good action-y movie. It was just trapped in between this weird, shitty inner space of just oh, we're kind of metaphorical, but yet we're still badass, but we're not actually going to be badass.
We're really cool and edgy, but we're thoughtful and pensive. And you know what? I know a lot about poetry. I read one yesterday. Here, let me tell it to you. Oh, no, wait, it's a visual poem. Let me show it to you.
Except it's, I mean, a visual poem would be a better... It's not. It's
Birdman was a visual poem. This is a 4th grader with his crayon, drawing on his wall. I hated this movie.
He's a really good drawer, though. He's just
He drew
drawing.
a really pretty painting, but he also shit on my floor. So
is that your second rating?
My second rating is this kid just shit on my floor, and I need to kick him out of the house.
This nice crayon drawing.
I haven't seen this guy's previous movie. I know it's supposed to be about... I you know what's funny was, when I saw the trailer, I immediately wanted to see his other movie, but I never ended up seeing it. But now I really don't want to see it after seeing this movie, because the premise on the first read-through sounded very interesting. About a man who's just... His space station crashed, and he's floating through space, and he's trying to get to a... and this is pre-gravity.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to get in... I guess he crashed into a space station or something. I don't remember it, but it's about a guy alone in space. And I can only imagine how boring and, awful it is. This director is on my shit list now. Because the thing about it is that it
had potential.
It
had so much potential.
It has so much potential. And there are good scenes in the movie. The scene where there's a scene where he's in a wheelchair and he's trying to escape out of the asylum.
Yeah.
And that scene is so nail-biting intense. Like, I'm in there, man. I'm in there with him.
Yeah.
And then they get up every time. Every single time.
And he doesn't get... And then he just gets caught and then he gets sent back. No consequences.
No, nothing. Just he gets sent back. And I can't emphasize enough how there are unanswered questions at the end, but they're the annoying kind of unanswered questions at the end, where you're like, well, I'm still not clear about that character's motivation. Or, so what does this mean for that character now that this is the new thing? What's going to happen to her? What's going to happen to him? What happened to him?
What is happening?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
What happened before?
Yeah, it's not.
Why did they do it this way?
Yeah.
Why were they doing this?
Yeah, you don't understand why the aliens chose to keep him on the planet. You don't know, okay, he's this alien robot person now. Is he gonna continue living on this planet? Is he gonna...
How did they build him, them? How did they build these, 3 teenagers, a complete desert?
Why did they build the whole desert just for these 3 kids?
Yeah,
and why did they have so little control?
Yeah, why were they trying to shoot and kill these kids if they were just gonna be like, oh, you found your way out?
Yeah, exactly. At the end, it's sort of like, you were supposed to do this. You were supposed to, break free and be free, and now you can be a part of... I think it's a thing where it's if you can figure this out, you're a part of society now. But they were so,
It's what they're trying to do with the movie. If you can figure this out, you're part of the cool kids club. But nobody can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe
so everyone's just, hiding in fear, no, yeah, I figured it out.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like if you know what this movie's about, you're lying to yourself. This isn't Primer. This isn't smart science fiction.
If you can figure out what this movie is about, you're a better writer than they are, because they couldn't figure out what this movie was about.
They had no clue.
You can tell that there's no it was a really cool idea, really cool visual ideas, but just shit.
I just can't emphasize how little action there is, because you keep thinking it's gonna build. Because they keep teasing for action. They keep teasing that there's going to be an action scene. And then there never is. There never is a satisfying moment at the end of the movie to make you feel like you actually, concluded. And on top of this, I hate to say it, but I've seen this ending before, and I've seen it done way better. I've seen it done 1,000 times better. I can think of 10 science fiction movies off the top of my head that kick this movie's ass into the dirt. And...
and did it with probably less production, value that this film, this film had, this film with beautiful cinematography.
Yeah,
but always, that's a.
This movie is so this is, imagine you go to a bar, you look across the aisle, and you see a beautiful woman sitting at the end of the bar, and you think to yourself, God, that woman is gorgeous. She's beautiful. We could totally get along. I wonder what she's thinking. And then you see a thought bubble over her head. That's it. That's all that's going on. There's nothing inside this movie. It is hollow. It is completely worthless. I cannot not recommend this movie enough.
He cannot not recommend this movie enough.
Wait. That's double negative, so that's a yes. No, I cannot not recommend this movie enough.
He does.
I hated this movie.
Waldo doesn't like this movie.
I do not like this movie.
The end.
I give this the bucket of shit award.
the shit bucket award goes to The Signal, starring Brenton Thwaites.
I hope that kid's career fails.